Ayo, little man!
Hey, yo, little
So you
man.
might be wondering, where is Straight Outta Compton? Straight Outta Compton is away right now. But in the meantime, we have Matt Kozarsky, who just got second place at the latest RBET with Diva Hero Beat. And on the screen right now, we have his deck list. In the bottom left, you have me. My name is Sam, or Kelzik for Dueling Book. And in the bottom right, we have Matt. So, Matt, how you feeling after your second place RBET finish?
Yeah, it was definitely a rush. I had a great time. Obviously, never expected to go as far as I did, but I was pretty happy with my play up until the finals, and the deck ran pretty well for the most part. A couple things I would change going forward, but
Right.
it was a great experience.
We can definitely talk about those things. But definitely no surprise, you are a very, very strong duelist. Let's talk about that deck list here. We have some pretty standard Diva Hero beat things going on. But anything in general from the main deck you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty standard. I'm playing the one DD Warrior Lady in the main deck. That I wasn't the biggest fan of, but
Interesting.
usually I play a second Ocean. I saw a lot of lists recently before the RBET that were playing this similar to this build. The only changes were one was playing a DD Warrior Lady and another one was playing Gores over Brain Control. And I love Gores in the deck. I actually played it in the deck at Nationals at the Ultimate Time Wizard tournament. And it worked out really well, but I didn't play it this time, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. But um, mostly standard. The DD Warrior Lady is going to come out of the deck. Wasn't a
So,
big fan.
so a couple things there. So, Diva Hero Beat has some pretty standard stuff going on. Gore's in the main deck. We've had this conversation a lot. It's a pretty back row heavy deck, right? You have, Future Fusion, Continuous Spell, a lot of traps going on. Uh, Even with all these traps, you would still want to put Gore's back in?
I'm not sure yet because I mean the Gores factor is going to be kind of a surprise. Sometimes you see some lists that play Gores, you see some lists that don't. The Gores token works really well with Honest,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, and it's just a really strong card. It can completely turn the tide on some games, but if I were to make the change right now, the DD Warrior Lady would come out for a Cyber Dragon in the main deck, maybe, or the just throw back in the second Ocean. I did miss the second Ocean a lot. I did.
That's definitely notable. That second ocean comes up a lot. What particularly didn't you like about the DD War Lady? It's a lot. It's an out to a lot of things, and
It is.
mhm.
I just felt like when I was playing it, I just there were a couple times where it was good. Like it helped me. I think it helped me banish a card trooper once. It helped me banish a few things, but it's going into games 2 and 3. I think there in certain matchups there were just cards that I thought might have been better in the matchup, like a Cyber Dragon or a Dust Tornado or something along those lines. But
Right.
maybe that's just completely wrong. But I think I would definitely want to. At first, I would love to test out Cyber Dragon or just go back to the second Ocean because you open Future Fusion, you're just gonna dump the one Ocean in an Alias, and
Right.
the other way you're gonna get Ocean back is with Call of the Haunted, which I completely was underrated. This card was underrated to me for years
Yeah,
until this deck.
we've
Until
talked
this
about
deck,
it. Yeah.
yeah. But so once you dump the one Ocean with Future Fusion, that's really it for Ocean, unless you call it back, like I said. So having that second Ocean is pretty strong.
Yeah. Right. And then the last thing that's pretty prevalent in a lot of Diva Hero beat decks is the difference between one and two Gilman. You opted for two. I've seen some lists play one. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, I will never play one Gilman in this deck.
Okay. And
The ability to go one card level 5, whether Android or Catastor, and you see it play two of both, is super super strong. And I if you watch I was on stream a lot. I was on stream for the end of round 6, all of round 7, all of round 8, and then my top 8 matches are posted on Keegan's channel. But I drew Gilman a lot. I drew it a lot, but I think it's worth it because, like I said, that one card level 5 with a Diva is strong. It outs a Cyber Dragon with Catastrophe, or it gives you Android, which is also strong with Honest. So getting the life points is super
right.
important.
Right. It's a
I'll
weird
never
duality
play.
because you play two Gilman because if you draw the one Gilman when you're playing one, then
You
you
have another
can't
one.
go into level 5. But if you play 2, you're going to draw them more often. You don't want to draw those cards. This card
And
blows in your hand. But,
yeah, the most fun thing about Gilman is when you have two on the field because
oh,
at
yeah.
that point, I'm strong as a tagged in Laquari, and it just makes me very, very excited.
Did that ever come up for you in this tournament?
No, never. I never had two Gilman on the field
Yeah.
ever in the tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's actually one. I actually screwed up on my deck list.
Okay.
The extra deck was missing a card, and I didn't have a chance to look at my physical deck because I have this built in real life
Right.
to see what that extra deck card was, and I knew it wasn't two Stardust Dragon. I knew it was only one.
Okay.
And then after, I think after the round one, I remembered that I was supposed to play Flameveil Urquhart, the level 6 that pierces.
Right.
Luckily, that never came
Never
up
came up.
where I needed it for game. But I would fix the extra deck. I would take out that second starter strap, put in Flameveil Urquhart.
All right.
Um,
Did this card ever come up?
it did not.
Okay.
It did not. The only time I ever summoned it is when I needed it for like a Miracle Fusion there was a reason why. I don't think I've ever summoned. I didn't summon it the entire weekend.
Fair enough. Now, since we're speaking about the extra deck, and you play Super Poly in the side deck, did you fear that Gemini deck? And obviously you didn't because you don't have the Gemini Fusion in here anywhere. But has that ever been a thought process for you? I forget what it's
Not really. I mean, the deck was super popular at RBET Moreno Valley, I
Right.
believe, because it did really well in the Giant Card Tournament. And I saw some of it at Nationals. I never played against it, but um, I wasn't too worried about it. I mean, I think our decks operate somewhat similarly. They have a lot of back row, and it's going to be a grind game. So, but the Super Poly was clutch for me.
Yeah, we're
In
going to talk
one
about
round.
that later, right?
Yeah.
The last card we have to talk about in the main deck is this card right here, Solemn Judgment. Tell me about this card, Mr. Matt.
It was stuck to me the entire weekend.
Yeah.
If you watch the top 8 matches, my top 8, top 4, and finals match, like I drew a lot, and I drew it even on the stream games during Swiss. The card was just stuck to me all weekend. I was very fortunate
Right.
to be able to have that card. Like it won me multiple games. It won me my top 8 match because my opponent mirror forced for game when he had no other field, and I solved it. And I won, and it helped out against. I think it helped me in top 4 when. I mean, I'm just trying to remember. My opponent used my body as a shield on a Sirocco with Whirlwind when he summoned it with Whirlwind.
That's right.
And I bottomed he my body and I solemned it and I won right after that.
Won the game off that, yeah.
So yes, Solemn Judgment.
So what you're saying is if you want to top an RBET or come in second, you just need to draw Solemn Judgment every game.
That is, it's very skillful. You need to draw it skillfully.
Duly noted. Let's talk about this side deck here. Now, something you and I have always talked about is side deck choicing when you're building a side deck. What do you side this card in against? Right? If you don't have a rationale for why you're putting this card in your side deck, what matchups are you putting this in against? Don't put it in your side deck. So I would, going through your extra deck, Cyber Dragon's pretty standard. What do you bring the Fossil Diners in against?
Fossil Diners I brought in against, and it won me games. I am trying to remember. There was... I brought it in against Frog Hero.
Mm-hmm.
Round 2 was really good. I'm trying to remember. There was one round, and I'm looking at my matchups in front of me for most of my matchups, and I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure against Frog Hero I brought it in, and it just shuts them down unless they have a Battle Trap or a Regeki Break or something to deal with it. But the card is just super good. It shuts decks like that down.
Oh yeah, I know. As a kind of the Amaryllis channel, I know a lot of people here because Amaryllis content. When I see this card when we're playing Amaryllis, me and Nick, we get scared because this it's an out to Titanial and it kind of shuts everything down. It shuts down your Amaryllis's. Very strong card. If I am not playing Amaryllis, this is almost in all my side decks. It's a fantastic card.
Yeah.
Kaiku, did that come in at all this weekend?
So the Kaikus were one thing I'd want to change. I didn't bring them in once.
Okay.
But the reason why they were in there is because of Amaryllis.
Oh. Okay.
I literally put them in. You and I talked about it before we went to our local Edison tournament like a week or two ago. And I struggle. Maybe I shouldn't. I'm not sure if I should, but I struggle against Amaryllis mostly because I don't fully know the matchup very well yet. Still learning it. And I lost to it at Nationals. I lost to Nick.
Right, you lost to Nick at Nationals.
And it was, I mean, almost everyone lost that deck at Nationals. It
That's
was,
true.
but we've all been friends for so long. I just decide Nick's playing Amaryllis. I just don't want to play against it. So I never knew the matchup very well. And I just threw it in my side deck, knowing Kaiku is just strong against the deck, being able to banish a lot of things. But it never came in this weekend. I never played against Amaryllis. I never played against. I mean, I played against like a Diva hero, but like I didn't.
Right.
I feel like that's I have such a strong matchup against that deck anyway. I didn't bring it in. I would definitely replace them for Snowman Eaters probably.
Okay. Yeah. That's something I was going to say is a lot of these decks I have Snowman either. But you didn't play against. We'll talk about your Swiss matchups in a sec. But you didn't play against any like Norialis stuff that this would kind of shut down.
No.
No. All right. Good because fuck that deck.
Yeah, I hate that deck.
All right, Nobleman. We know why we bring in Nobleman, so we don't really have to go over that. Super Poly for the mirror match, I'm assuming.
Well, Super Poly for the mirror match for Frog Hero, Diva Hero.
Gotcha.
And the card won me a game 3 against Diva Hero this weekend.
You want to talk about that now?
Yeah, so I'll talk about it for a second. So I opened up game 3. I opened up a Super Poly, and I had luckily tested with the card a week or two before at locals, and I was playing 2 of them, and I drew 2 of them.
Yeah, I was sitting right next to you when that happened.
It was bad, so I cut it down to 1, but still learning all the matchups with. So I'm playing against Diva Hero, and I went first, and I didn't set Super Poly turn 1, and my opponent proceeds to go Special Greffer, Summon Diva. He has Diva, Malicious, Plague in the Grave, and all of a sudden he's got a Diva and a Malicious on the field.
Yeah, the nuts.
And I didn't set the Super Poly.
Right.
And I lost that game. I think that was game 2. And I lost that game simply because I didn't set Super Poly. So game 3 against Diva Hero in this tournament, I opened Super Poly and I set Super Poly. And it sat there the whole game until it actually mattered because we were grinding away. He had he had 4 monsters banished, including a Gilman. You can bring up the screenshot. A Gilman and so here it is. He returns back those 4 monsters: Evil Heroes, Gilman, Stratos, and Caius. So I'm at 4,000. So this looks like game. My other face down card. Guess what it is? You'll never guess it.
Is it Solemn Judgment?
Solemn Judgment.
Wow.
So he goes to attack, and I Super Poly the Gilman and the Stratos to make absolute 0, and it won me the game.
Yeah.
He ended up attacking Caius into the 0 for a 3rd Dark and summoning Dark Arm that I just solemned. The game was over quickly after that, but Super Poly won me that game.
Yeah.
You can tell my hand is very good here, but the Super Poly won me the game.
I was just gonna say Double Miracle, you call Alias. He's at 1,700. Solemn set. We're looking good. We're looking good in this situation. Anyway.
Yeah, it was super. It was just that moment was a lot of fun.
Right. Moving on, we got Dust Tornadoes for the side for your Blackwing matchup.
Yeah, it's against a lot of decks. Like decks that obviously set a lot of background, not just Blackwings, but like going first. You side in the Dust Tornadoes. I mean, you side him in no matter what against the Blackwing matchup, but going first in a lot of matchups where you're against an opponent who has a lot of back row, I bring in the Dust Tornadoes.
Nice. And Light Imps, obviously, for your light decks, and Pulling the Rogues for anything that normal summons.
Yeah, Pulling the Rug is so versatile. It's not. I mean, originally the card was like made to say negate a Monarch. That's really what it said for a long time. And then with the modernization of Edison, it's really just good against anything, right? Diva, Stratos, a Monarch, that kind of stuff.
I'm surprised when people don't play this card. Like, Diva Hero, right? You can play this against Diva Hero because their normal summons are Stratos, Diva, Caius, right? And if you Pulling the Rug any of those are high value. Pulling the Rug, it stops them straight in their tracks. And, obviously against Frogs, it could 2 for 1 if they tribute a real card. Like, it's just, this card is... Absolutely fantastic.
It is. It is. I mean, when I'm building a side deck at Edison, like I always pulling the rug and light mirror are always in my side deck, and I know people. There were times where people were not citing light mirror as much because Christie Sworn really isn't a thing anymore. Light Sworn isn't really a thing anymore, but it's there, and I'm not going to not be prepared for it because they could just mill the nuts like they did against me in round 8 and one of the games, and you don't have light mirror, and you're just going to lose.
Right. The ceiling for this card being like the amount it prevents Light Sworns and Christia Sworn from playing the game.
Fairies.
And fairies in general. It's just it's too good to not include in your side deck. But
Yeah.
any other overall thoughts on your side deck? Any side deck, plans like for the future, other than we talked about the Kaikus, side deck options?
Yeah, I would just change the Kaikus. I think throughout the entire tournament, every single card in my side deck came in except for Kaiku.
Except for Kaiku.
And I definitely could have. I definitely could have. I don't remember if I brought them in against Diva Hero. I should have. Maybe against Frogs too, but you don't want to. You're going through your side deck and you're just clicking on the cards that you know are going to be good, and all of a sudden you're at like 8 cards,
Right.
and siding in too many cards and altering the entire strategy of your deck is just gonna not be the best thing in the world. So,
Right.
So you got to limit it sometimes. So you got to realize, okay, do I need this? Do I need that? Nothing too crazy, because it's even harder to take cards out of your deck.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's also something we talk about. In general, we can move on in a sec after we talk about this, but in general, what were some of the things you cited out?
It was easy when I won game 1 because Dushu comes right out
Right.
every single time. Dushu comes out when you're going second, comes back in when you're going first. Sometimes I'll side out a Deep Prison, depending on the matchup. Starlight Road, going second, side out Starlight Road. Very, very rarely, but like obviously against Black Wings you don't. But DD Warrior Lady, I found myself taking out a bunch. And ironically and honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say honest can sometimes come out.
Yeah, when I remember when James Ark really pioneered this deck and won the Starlight Black Rose Dragon tournament at our locals Collectors Emporium. Shout out to them. He talked about in his deck profile after citing out Honest a lot, because a lot of people don't really think about that. There were a lot of times where I didn't cite out Honest, but in decks in matchups where it was okay, like I can't really give an example at this second, but Honest did come out a bunch.
All right, good to know. All right, so moving on from the deck profile, your Swiss rounds. Why don't you tell us about your matchups and any notable moments, anything particular you want to talk about through Swiss?
Yeah, so I mean, the tournament started out with like 175 players, and then I think pretty much everyone knows, right? Challenge crashed after round 1, and they had to postpone the tournament till Sunday. And then between those 2 days, between Saturday night and Sunday, about 50 players dropped, and I know a lot of good players were dropping because they couldn't play on Sunday, but still, there were a lot of good players in this tournament. Like round 1, I played against this guy named Ryanide. I know he's popular in the community. He was playing a very interesting Machina Frog Monarch deck. Game 1, he goes Substitute combo with a dupe. He soft dupe blocks me, and then all of a sudden he summons a Machina Fortress.
Right.
And I got super confused. Luckily, I was able to beat him. Round 2, I played against the very popular Ronak. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. He's the guy who pioneered frogs, always played frogs. Usually he plays some weird stuff. Not weird, but like, trying out a lot of different techs. Like I remember before the tournament, I saw a video of him with like frogs and heroes and Mausoleum of the Emperor. So like, and Machinas maybe. I wasn't sure what to expect, but he was playing a standard frog hero deck. I beat him too in round 2. And I think that was the matchup that Fossil Dino was just really good. The round 3 was crazy. I played against it was a machine deck, but it was, I forget what it was called specifically, but it was playing cards like Lord British Space Fighter, Blue Thunder T-34, a card called Jade Knight, I think it was. Basically, when it dies, you get to search for a level 3 machine. So like he was able to like search card trooper and stuff like that.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was weird. It was interesting, but I won that round. Um, the next round, I played against Diva Hero, which you saw the screenshot. Played against Super with the Super Poly. Love that matchup. I would love to play 8 rounds against Diva Hero, except the True Hero because he's the best at it. But Diva Hero is, I feel like, is a very good matchup for me. Round 5, I don't remember.
Okay.
I'll get back to you on that. I don't remember what I played round 5, and I can't find the replay. Round 6, I played against Black Wings, which was South City Duelist. If you know him, his name is Stevie. He is a prior RBET winner. I beat him, and then the next round I played against. This was a tough match, and it was on. The entire match was on Keegan's stream. I played against the Machina Control, the Machina Lightsworn. We call it Twin Dot Deck because our buddy is a twin and he plays it down. That's why we call it that. That was my only loss in Swiss, and it was rough because I'm pretty sure I got 2-0'd, but I was in a commanding position both games, and Keegan put it really, really well on his stream that the quality of monsters that deck is going to summon is just stronger and not better, but it puts yourself in a better position than mine. It's like it takes a lot for me to be able to kill a Machina Fortress or
right. You have to like
even Gear Flame sometimes. I mean, I know I have Alias, but like, it's just the recurrence of Machina Fortress. Like if you watch the stream, I'm in the lead both games, and then just I get grinded out by the strong machines. So that was my only loss in Swiss. And then round 8, I played against standard Lightsworn deck round 8. Game 2, he milled double wolf opening turn. I lost that game. That was great.
Yes, that was on stream, right?
That was, yeah. So the game 3 of round 6 against South City Duelist was on stream. All of round 7 and my one loss to the Machina deck was on stream, and then the Lightsworn deck in round 8 was on stream as well. Luckily, he ended up getting his invite as well. It got passed down, so he's going to Rulers too. But the host, everyone on that stream wanted the Lightsworn deck to win. It was funny. And watching it back later. And then you move on to top 8. Now, top 8 wasn't played right after the tournament or continued because, at that point it was like, I don't know, 8, 9 o'clock Eastern time after Swiss. So they gave us, up till Tuesday to play our top 8 matches. I had a rematch against Stevie, South City Duelist, Black Wings in top 8. I think it was a pretty straightforward match. I mean, he was playing Black Wings. We had 3 games, nothing absolutely crazy. I drew Solemn Judgment like every game, of course.
So, yeah, of course, we're drawing a Solemn Judgment. Just to interject, now that we got to top 8, your top 8 matches, top 8, top 4, finals, you played all Black Wings.
Yeah.
Some might say that is a lucky bracket matchup. What are your thoughts about the Blackwing matchup, and what was your game plan going in for Blackwings specifically?
So I learned that Blackwings is a very good matchup for me.
Okay.
I didn't really know it going in. I probably should, but I play the game enough. I practice this deck enough. Like I said, I played it at Nationals. I ended up getting 25th at Nationals.
Right.
Had a really good showing at Nationals with a very, very similar build.
You got very unlucky at Nationals. If things happened a little bit differently, you could have topped Nationals.
Yeah, we could talk about that later too. But I guess I probably should have known the Blackwing matchup is good. I mean, I think it's just a combination of like me not knowing the matchups as well as I should, and I'm definitely going forward. But coming into the
match this way, did you ever fear Blackwings? Like,
no,
right? So like subconsciously, a lot of people just fear Blackwings because it's just so strong. So maybe subconsciously, you didn't think, oh, Blackwings is a good matchup, but you didn't fear it, and maybe you think it was a better matchup than you actually think you like.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And then so Stevie and I had a pretty good matchup in top 8. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my And then played against Black Wings again in top four, and I got utterly destroyed game one. And I was very discouraged.
Right.
So let me actually back up really quick. Stevie and I played top eight Sunday night. So after Swiss, we played it. I'm pretty sure we played it Sunday night. And then my top four match was played on Monday, right? Sam, we talked about this, right?
Yes.
I believe it was played on Monday
Night.
at like 7:30 Eastern time.
Yep.
And so I had a day, almost a day in between. I had to work on Monday, and I have a 2-year-old daughter, blah blah blah. So we played a 7:30 on Monday, and I got like I forgot my opponent's name, Light Angel, I think his name was. He put on a clinic game one with how well he played Black Wings.
It was impressive how well he played around Starlight Road the entire game. If you go back and rewatch that, it was Icarus attacking his own back row, which was a legacy to not play into the Starlight Road that he knew you had set. It worked out for him really, really well in game one.
Yeah, and then games 2 and 3, I was able to pull it out. I mean, it was a grind. It's sometimes it's hard to keep your mindset where you want it to be,
right,
when you're in such a high, like you're in top four of a pretty major Edison tournament, and going down a game to a matchup that's supposed to be good.
right.
So then games 2 and 3, I won. I'm pretty sure I saw him judgment. So there was one point in the game where he sided in. I think he sided in Fossadana against me.
Yes, he did.
And then I just, there's situations and where I just wasn't drawing heroes, and
Yes.
it's super frustrating because I am at heart a gladiator beast player. I live and breathe on GBs. Can't play them right now. Maybe you can, but not. And my biggest issue with that deck is just the monster count. I never do monsters with GBs, and so now playing this deck, has even slower monster count, higher. In my opinion, it's a better deck, but in that game where he summons Fossil Dyna and I'm just drawing 3 or 4 turns of just no hero, no monster. Drew a live Miracle Fusion that I couldn't play because of Dyna. And then he got greedy and went Whirlwind into Sirocco, and
with my body backup.
And he had my body as backup, and I was able to bottomless. Yeah, I bottomless the Sirocco, and he my bodied, and I saw him. Then I ended up winning right after that. So, I was surprised I made it out of top four. So it was a struggle.
Right.
And then I made some pretty crazy mistakes in the finals. I played against GGB, I think, and I'm sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. We talked before and after the match. Great guy. Really, really good. But I got 2-0 in the finals. It was heartbreaking. Not really heartbreaking because I was super happy about my performance, but my play in the finals was just not good. And there are probably a bunch of things that went into it because, like I was saying before, like your mindset when you're in a tournament like this, and it's someone, and to me, having not topped an RBET before in the past, I've topped regionals back in the day. You're talking about I was a competitive modern player back in 2010, 2011. I was at Shonen Jump Edison. And so, topping an event like this, the nerves definitely get to you. So, the biggest thing you can do after winning a big top four match is I should have taken more time to clear my head and get ready for the final.
Right. You come off, top four, right? Didn't quite go the way you wanted, even though you pulled out the win, and you hop right into your finals match, and the tilt didn't quite wear off. Is what you're saying?
I don't know if I was tilted. It's just the fact that I should have given myself more time to calm down and mentally prepare for the finals. I'm a big GOAT player as well, just like straight out of Compton. We play GOAT together all the time, and I can't play that format unless I have a completely clear head. I can't play it well if I have other things on my mind, and that was kind of what happened going into the finals here because I was coming off the high of winning top four. I should have given myself a half hour
Right.
to get up, get a drink, calm down, just think about the round before. But instead, right after the match, I immediately got a message from GGBO, and we played the finals 5 minutes later.
Right. And that
Not that
calls
that's
you to
use for my play,
yeah.
but it's definitely a factor.
Right. Calls you to attack with your Stratos into a Kalut when he has no back row, and things happen from there.
So if you watch the finals, what did Keegan say? I punted
You
the
blew
nuts.
You blew the nuts. Yeah.
And I did punt the nuts,
Right.
opening one of that. And the entire day, the next day, all day while I'm working, I thought about that attack before any video went up about the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And I even texted Sam, I texted Nick straight out of Compton, and I said, before any video comes up, I've been thinking about my attack on Stratos, and I regret it.
Yeah. Yeah.
With my attack on Hishura, and knowing, like, my opening hand was just busted. I had Miracle Fusion, I had Stratos, I had Hero Blast, I had Bottomless, I think I had Deep Prison, and there was no need for me to attack. And everything kind of went downhill from there. I think I lost very, very quickly.
Right. Regardless, second place is nothing to scoff at. It is definitely a credential to put on the channel, right? If you're actually thinking about Team Littleman as a whole, we have Nick, who got third place at Nationals. We have second place at RBET. We have Glick won the Starlight Stratos tournament, which was not a small tournament, and a lot of good players at that. So just as a team, we're doing quite well with building some credentials. But we are coming up on 30 minutes. So any last thoughts on the tournament as a whole, on the deck? Any shout-outs? Anything you want to mention at the end?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I would just definitely thank everyone on the really big Yu-Gi-Oh Discord, at Keegan's Discord, for putting on the tournament, dealing with all of the issues that came up with Challenge on Saturday. They had to manually do the brackets, I think, for round two, and then 30% of the field dropped between Saturday night and Sunday, and continued and things. But luckily, Sunday things were much smoother. But thank you to all of them and the judges. I'm sorry I don't remember all of your names. Asian with a Hat and a few other people. And E3 Yu-Gi-Oh, Keegan's channel. Appreciate putting on the tournament. Shout out, I said it before, but I'll say it again. Shout out to our local Edison tournament, Collectors Emporium in Levittown, New York. Having a PS5 tournament coming up in December.
That is true.
Should be pretty awesome. Well, I will be there. Nick will be there. Sam, you'll be there.
I will be there.
The entire team, Little Man, will be there.
Yeah.
So let's hope to have a really big one, and maybe one day I would love to see a live RBET in person at that location.
That would be awesome. Regardless, if you liked this type of content where we go over, a big tournament, congratulations again to you. If you like Amarilla's content, if you like Edison content, if you like Perfect Circle content, if you like GOAT content, if you like 2011 content, comment below what you would like to see. Subscribe, hit that follow button, and we will see you, hopefully Nick will see you, in the next video.